Welcome back to Racing with Jesse Rosinski. I hope you guys had a good weekend. Hope you enjoyed some of the races going on because it was a really full weekend when you think about it. A lot went on. Main Supercross with 250 East and 450s ran. And it was a great race. I liked it there in Foxborough. I thought they put together a good track. F1 was a big weekend. Yeah, qualifying. They had the sprint. They had tournament qualifying after qualifying, the sprint race on Saturday, and then the Grand Prix. And then NASCAR ran at Talladega with the ARCA Xfinity and Cup Series. And there was some good racing involved in all that. A lot of idiocy. One really stupid thing that I'm saving for the end. So maybe if I blow a gasket, at least it'll be at the end. So Google Podcasts can't find it. You know, everything I do is explicit regardless. But, you know, what they did there, to, you know, the ARCA series, I think, was just the biggest crock I've ever seen, at least in a very long time. And it's piss poor preparation and planning on their part. But again, saving that for the end, we'll start off with good stuff. There was a lot of good stuff. The AMA SuperCross in Foxborough, Massachusetts. I liked the track. There was a lot of people there too. Like, and even went, man, there's a lot of people there. So good for them to fill up that much. It was the 250 East and the 450s. And we went back to the normal schedule because both, you know, East and West weren't there for the 250s. So it was back to some, you know, as normal as it could be. 250 Heat 1, Pierce Brown won with Jet Lawrence second and and Smith third. 250 Heat 2, big old wreck at the beginning there. I know Hampshire and Oldenburg were involved with, you know, lots of other people. Chisholm went down from the lead, like a 3-second lead. So I have no idea. It's like that had to absolutely suck. Just a little over a minute to go. But thankfully, Faulkner and Varese go down from first and second when Faulkner all but landed, like he pretty much landed directly on him over that jump. It's not like Varese knew he was going to be coming right there because, you know, Faulkner was behind him. But regardless, that happened. And Chisholm ended up getting back there and stealing the win because of that wreck. And Varese got up and was going, which is the important thing because, I mean, he did come down to Kadoosh. So that sucked. But Chisholm got his first ever heat race. So good on him. Yeah. It was much more eventful across the board, not just with that and the first 250 heat. But, you know, calm races, it's a good change of pace after, you know, some crazy every once in a while. But 450 Heat 1, Anderson passed Moose Canford lead and like immediately like went down when he finally got to him. And Moose Can ended up winning, but Anderson finished second, Cooper Webb third, 450 Heat 2. Sexton gets the whole shot, wins easily, no problem. You know, Sexton first, Eli Tomac second, and Malcolm Stewart third. Good on him. Now they both looked, yeah. Stewart looked good all weekend. You know, if you watched qualifying and everything, like he looked good. So good on him. I like seeing him, yeah, consistently running good there. But then we got to the 250 LCQ, and hopefully Ty Firehill is good. If you guys didn't watch it, I mean, at least look for that wreck from Foxborough. Because, I mean, he went down over the handlebars and just boom on his head, and he just laid there. Like he was out cold. So obviously something brain happened there. So hopefully he's okay. I've had enough brain injuries to know it isn't a lot of fun to have one, especially getting just knocked flat out like that with that many bikes coming out. Thankfully, everyone, you know, stopped and, you know, to get around them and chose to get past in order to not run them over, which, you know, shows the decency in there, but hard hit. Hopefully he's okay. I haven't seen anything. So when I do, I will let you guys know. Hopefully I'll know something by Friday, but that was a damn hard hit. And Hampshire got the win. And then Martin won the 450 LCQ by a mile. Like he was just gone. Like, sorry, not too much competitiveness right there. At least for the lead, there was racing throughout trying to get the last transfer spot, but only one guy had a chance in the 450 last chance qualifier. 250 main. Hampshire went down from second while trying to get the lead, which is a shame because without that, the points would have been, you know, very different. This when it came to like the way they were sitting, like it was completely different story. But, you know, he went back to fourth, fell back to sixth all the way by the end of it. And Faulkner took the lead from Pierce Brown with about a minute 30 left. Jet Lawrence passed, you know, Pierce Brown coming to the white flag, and we got Forkner win the race. Jet Lawrence finished second. Pierce Brown third. Good for him. And Jet Lawrence locked up the 250 East title with, Hampshire going down. With where he finished, being in second. I mean, he would have got it regardless, but him going down and falling all the way back to sixth and falling behind Jet made it a lot easier. So congratulations to him again. You've heard me talk about Jet Lawrence for weeks now. And he dominates normally. Even when you see him go down, most of the time he gets back up and wins no matter what it is. I mean, we've seen him go down in turn one in a heat race, 6 minutes on a lap, and he still came back and won. So, he deserved it. He earned it this year, moving over, He gets to see what his brother can do in the West Series coming up to finish out their season, which is exciting. So there's some good drivers out in the West again. You don't get to see if you have Peacock, all the Supercross race weekends, they're all on there. Just click on the main event and you get to see the heat races, the LCQs, the main events, all of it right there. And it's all really good racing. And if you have Peacock, a lot of people probably don't even know that it's there. I didn't know. So, yeah, I mean, I'd say watch it. Good stuff out there. And again, go through the last couple of weeks. Jet Lawrence has just been doing crazy, crazy things with what he did. Or go look at Daytona just because that track was beautiful. And Ricky Carmichael put together a beautiful one. And then the 450 main event, Tomac stalled out with Anderson. It looked like he surprised him down low. They didn't make contact, but he was like, hey, I'm here. And Jason Anderson went on to win, so good for him. Yeah. Tomac has, 7 wins? He has 5. Like, they pretty much dominated all, but at least I think those are the right numbers. And, he had a few weeks there, Anderson did, where he's having all that contact and just running into Malcolm Stewart, which just killed a lot of his points in his races. So it was good to see him get the win. Sexton second, Musquin third, Malcolm Stewart fourth, Tomac finished sixth. And we do have to wait until Dover next week. And Denver, glad I can read. Dover's next weekend for NASCAR, in case it's where the confusion came in. Too many D's, but going to be in Denver. The track looked beautiful. I sent all the maps over to our friend Walter, and they did a really good job with that one. I like that track way better than what they had in Foxborough this week. So it should be really, really exciting. And again, Eli can lock up the championship next weekend, a week early, which will make it, way easier for him. So I'm very excited to see if he can do it. Only time will tell. But as long as he runs good, he did the smart thing that he could. When he stalled it out, he wasn't going to get back up there, and he was made sure he didn't turn dumb into more dumb. At least that's the way I see it going down there. So good for him. Yeah, a lot of good racing. I think he'll lock up the championship next weekend, unless something really weird happens. Jet Lawrence locked up the 250s, and it was deserved. And all around good stuff out of there. So I have no real complaints about that. Moving on to the F1, Emelia Romania GP at Imola in Italy. I will say qualifying with all the red flags and everything that kept happening was probably more exciting than a lot of the actual racing for the weekend, sadly. Again, there was good racing here and there, but when it came down to, it was just some people were gone and some people had bad luck, but lots of stuff in qualifying. Q1, Albon had a fire in his right rear, right away. All kinds of damage to the car. The tire blew up. And that was right at the beginning, too. There was all kinds of weird stuff going on the whole time. Lewis Hamilton barely made Q2. Just strange to see. Really, really strange to see. Q1 results, though. Leclerc was first. Max Verstappen second. Carlos Sainz third. Then we had Max's teammate Perez in fifth. Kevin Magnussen seventh. Mick Schumacher 14th, and then the Mercedes teammates of Russell and Hamilton finished 12th and 15th, and they just looked really, really bad, the whole time you saw them out there, and it didn't help. And then there was a time in their defense in Q2 where they're getting ready to go, and a red flag came out, and then by the time they got out there, rain came, so they would have been at a disadvantage no matter what from the people that got time in the first, qualifying, before the rain. Before that rain came, dry track, you're obviously going to drive faster. So that didn't help them. We don't know what they could have done. Russell looked way better than Lewis all weekend. He has a few times. So I don't know what is going on. They'll figure it out. But Q2, Verstappen first, Sainz second. Sadly, he wrecked that car, but as I digress, in that. I mean, he was running way faster on that lap when he went around, when he hit just boom in Q2. Like he had it, he just lost it and was going. I mean, he was trying for it. You can't take it away from him for putting in the effort to try to get, the fastest lap, but he went around, but ended up getting second in Q2. Perez was fourth, Leclerc fifth, Kevin Magnussen seventh. And the elimination, there's a Russell at 11th, Mick Schumacher 12th, and Lewis Hamilton at 13th. So they're roughly near where they were, but again, there's so many red flags. Like Q3 ended with 38 seconds left when the red flag came out. No one would have been able to get out and get around anyway. And ended early because of another red flag, and there was a lot. Like that was the craziest qualifying I've ever seen, like for anything. But yeah, it was eventful, but Max was fast again. Who's surprised by it? He's been running good all year. Yeah, until he's had problems in the races. Like he's been running good all year. Leclerc was second, Perez was third. There was the other, signs. Yeah, I can read. Watch out. Leclerc second, Lando Norris third, Magnussen fourth, Alonso fifth, Ricciardo sixth, Perez seventh, Bottas eighth, Vettel ninth, and Sainz in 10th in Q3 to start off the sprint race on Saturday, which I did like the concept. And there was good racing around the track. It wasn't the greatest of things, but there was good racing. Leclerc got a giant lead at the beginning. And again, him and his teammate Carlos Sainz have looked great. The Ferraris have been really, really, good this year. And like, who the hell is going to try to deny that they look good this year? I mean, just look how far, they are up there with whether was constructors points or drivers points in the stand. Like they have looked good. And he got a great jump on Max, safety car on lap one for Joe Granio. Pierre Gasly making contact. There's also, bad things happen. There's also light contact between Magnussen and Ricciardo. No damage, thankfully, good on them. Magnussen did get a warning for weaving while in fourth. I don't know. I mean, I get it, but it's not my favorite rule. I get it though. There's way too many, just in there. But and Leclerc, I mean, he pretty much ran away with it. Had it real easy up front until lap 17, and the sprint was only 21 laps. And he led for forever. He got first 19 laps. Max passed him right after the line to start lap 20, and just in that short, it was only 2 laps. Max drove away by over 2 seconds to get the win, which is just astronomical when you think about it. 2 laps, he got that far ahead. So, good on him for that. And again, he's been fast all year, and he really does need to have the good runs because he's had the 2 DNFs because of having issues. And he just drove away though. But top 8, they also got points from 8th, 8 points from first place all the way down to 8th place, getting 1 point, but it's points. You got to take them when you can. But Verstappen first, Leclerc second, Max's teammate Perez third, Leclerc's teammate Sainz fourth, Lando Norris fifth, Ricciardo sixth, Bottas seventh, and Kevin Magnussen rounding out top 8 to get points in the race. Again, you need points. You got to get them, any way you can. So take them while you can. Good race though. Again, he got up there and he drove away, but there was racing throughout the field, which made it, okay. It just, he was gone. And then the big race, there was a lot of good stuff. They started on the damp track, expecting more rain. And I really want to know what Carlos Sainz did. Because, just within a few turns of the race, him and Ricciardo, Daniel Ricciardo make contact, and he goes up into the rocks, and he's out on lap 1. He had the trouble last week. They gave him his new contract, and he signed it this week. And then that happens again, like 2 weeks in a row. So I don't know where all this bad luck came, what he did to get it. But, full safety car on lap 1 again, because he's stuck and out. It's terrible. Thankfully, they ran good. They had all those points they got the first 2 races, so he had a buffer. And this race did make everything a lot closer for the people that had trouble and the people that didn't. So good on them. But 2 weeks in a row, that's just a shame. And again, he's a good guy. He's getting a good opportunity. He's been running good with it. It's just terrible luck. But Lewis Hamilton, he needs to pick his stuff up too. Like, I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if you guys watch, if we all know his name from winning and winning and winning and winning and winning. The guy didn't stop winning, and it had to kill him. But Max Verstappen, was as big a rival as he could be. From last year's championship, he lapped him on lap 41 of the 63 lap race, which is just shows you where Lewis and them are right now, and they have to figure it out. Like, they have to. His teammates ran way better than him, so I don't know what it is, but they have got to figure out whatever is going on in there, whether it's car's head, I don't know. But to see him getting lapped on lap 41 is just mesmerizing. Charles Leclerc went around well in third place and had a pit because of damage 10 to go, fell to ninth, made it all the way back up to sixth. So good on him. But Max won, like Verstappen won by over 16 seconds. His teammate Perez was second, Lando Norris third, Russell fourth, Bottas fifth. Again, Leclerc made it back to sixth, Tsunoda seventh, Vettel eighth, Kevin Magnussen ninth, and Lance Stroll 10th. Hamilton finished 14th. And again, since then, him and Toto have come out and conceded that they're not going to be anywhere near the championship this year. And he's back there finishing 14th. Excuse me. And fine all day. And yet here I am. Sit down with the microphone in front of me. And suddenly, can't stop. Figures. But him and Toto, like, they've conceded they can't. They got to figure it out because his teammate finished fourth. And he was up there, like, competitive, looking good. And, Lewis just couldn't figure anything out. I really don't know what's going on. I don't understand. But they have got to figure it out, because that's just unacceptable for any of them, especially who they are and all that. And it's got to be, I don't know, a lot of things demoralizing. A lot of people like probably thinking good for him, which after all that winning and everything, I'm sure there's a lot of people that feel that way. But like, dude, like, something ain't right there. And when your teammates run that much better than you got to figure it out. Like, you just have to. Sorry, like, there's no other way to put it. Hopefully they figure it out. But, at least some people, at least his teammates looking good. So, it's helping out Mercedes in the constructors, which, does help in the long run because he's been having a lot better runs. But we'll see. And again, we got, the trip to America for Miami coming up. So I'm really excited about that to see what they could do here, especially as they added a third track starting next season in Vegas, a street course. So that's very exciting too to me. So Miami coming up. Make sure you watch it because I'm pretty sure it's going to be really, really good. It brings us to the ARCA General Tire 200 with Austin Cindric in the booth with Jamie Little and Phil Parsons. I liked it just because he's so young, passionate. I like to hear, his personality and his humor come out more than you get to see just in his interviews. And I thought he did a really, really good job. And again, how much he was in the ARCA series. It makes sense. And and there's some good racing. They did a lot of work. A lot of people teamed up just to make sure that Corey Heim didn't win, which, how fast he is makes sense. And a lot of wrecks, some big, crazy wrecks and some just misfortunes, but a lot of stuff going on there. Drew Dollar started on pole. He's always been good at restrictor plate tracks. He got to do double duty and run the Xfinity race later in the day. And it was hot. So good on him for being able to pull it off. The 4-car line led by Corey Heim runs faster than pretty much the whole rest of the field lined up, and it got him to a lead early. It didn't last because there was cautions from people losing tires, motors blowing out, cars wrecking on their way back to the green flag and the caution flying. I mean, like, there was all kinds of just weird stuff that kept happening before the competition caution on lap 38, where they got to make the modified pit stops, adjustments. They got to change tires, add fuel. They couldn't do those two things at the same time. Positions didn't change. They got to do everything, which is what they did in the Cup Series on the dirt. And I think it's completely, okay in those situations. Just let them do what they have to do, get it done, get back on the track and go. Especially, in the ARCA Series, I have no problem with them doing it there just because, they don't have the big super team power. Like, this was Kyle Busch's first time having a car, KBM fielding an ARCA car for Drew Dollar. So, it shows you there's not a lot, it's not the big thing where they could have all this money and stuff to put into pit crew. So I'm okay with them doing it there. There's a big one with 27 to go. I'll say the 10 ramped of 10th. of Richard Garvey ramped completely off from another car, went up that way, slammed back down. He went for a hell of a ride. That was nuts. But in the 7 of Eric Caudell, he came back across Trout around the track across during that same wreck, and thankfully he got T-boned in the passenger side door because that guy was going full speed. Like that could have been really, really bad if it was on the other side. So I was happy, to see it be there, because you don't want to see anyone get hurt, regardless of how you feel about them. Like everyone says, like you don't want to see anyone get hurt, especially at those speeds moving at that. So good on him. Glad to see him, walk away from it. And we all know, again, driver's side, that could have been way bad, really bad. We've all seen it go really bad. But total list of everyone involved: the 03 of Brayton Laster, the 7 of Eric Caudell, the 10 of Richard Garvey, the 25 of Tony Breidinger, 27 of Tim Richmond, which still weirds me out every time I see that name. I just think, Tim Richmond. Anyway, 36 of Ryan Huff, the 69 of Scott Melton. Breidinger, I'll give her credit for having the positive attitude and doing the interview after, the way she did, especially after that was the second day in a row where she lost a car. Things that really weren't her fault at all. So good to see her do that. And I was glad to see the 69 driver, Scott Melton. They had to cut the roof off of his car and load him onto the gurney. Thumbs up as he was getting into the ambulance. That's always good to see. So big one though. Like there was a lot of tore up cars and hard hits during that one. Again, the worst thing you saw was that I haven't seen an update on him either. So when I do, I'll make sure to let everyone know. And one thing I really hated, and all I'm going to say is saying that the next flag ends it, whether it's, the checkered flag or a caution ends it with 14 to go. Yeah, that made me feel away. I'll get to that at the end of all this. And the fact that they threw a caution, I think it was like 12, whatever it was, because Dye goes around, didn't hit anything, went right immediately back driving straight. Could have kept it green through the caution just to end it. Sanchez got the win, which is good, but they said they're doing it so they had to make sure they could get the Xfinity Series racing. I'm going to get into all of that. That's going to get me in trouble if I actually say my thoughts out loud right now. So I'm trying to save it for the end. So I'm going to move on to the Xfinity Series Ag Pro 300. Again, another good race. Big old lots of idiocy involved in it, but still good race. It's good to see Jeffrey Earnhardt, the black number 3, with Larry Mack as his crew chief, get the pole. To see, Senior's grandson in the 3, black number 3, getting the pole with Larry Mack as his crew chief was just a good thing for everyone. I don't care who you are. Like that was cool to see. And look how good he ran. Like if they could field that all the time, like I think that could be really good because he's never had like a sustained run in really good equipment. But that's all wishful thinking, probably. He did have Richard Childress spotting for him in the race. It's just weird, but if you watch the race, apparently he did a good job. And I will give NASCAR credit for, when we do these, restrictor plate races, to once again have Joey Logano's Cup spotter Coleman Presley on the commentating team, but up in the spotter stand, given that perspective and all that. Just because it's not a perspective that we got to ever really, we got to hear people talk about it, but we never got to have someone up there, camera, microphone, headset, talking about it. And I think that, just gives more to a lot of people that actually don't, really understand what goes into it all or never seen it. So I really do dig that. You guys could think I'm nuts, but I really do like that. No matter how I feel about Joey Logano. We all know it's not really normally the nicest, but Ty Gibbs made, big move all on his own, just pure power on lap 1 to get up to the lead. And then, Josh Berry won stage 1. There's a wreck with 2 to go in stage 2 to end the stage. And a lot of guys were involved with it. Allgaier got the win, but Chandler Smith, Josh Berry, JJ Yaley, the 91 of Massey, he got a hard hit in all of that. Brett Moffitt and Ryan Ellis all involved. Big one. That's a lot of names there. It sucks because there's a lot of you. Yaley was running good. Chandler Smith was running. Josh Berry. There were guys that were actually running. Ellis, they were doing pretty good. Granted, it's a plate track, but you still see the guys that, even though it's a plate track, still can't, pull it off. And they were running good. So I will give them credit for that. Sucks to see them all taken out. Stage 3. Got to see a big wreck again come off the bumper of Ryan Sieg, who was driving the 38 instead of the 39 that he normally drives for point purposes. So I guess his brother wasn't necessarily actually doing anything all that good, and owner's points. So they swapped them out for the week. But Ty Gibbs, Brandon Jones, Ryan Ellis again, David Starr, Hemrick, and Drew Dollar all involved in one there. This cost was 17 to go. Matt Mills loses a tire, needs a wall. Inside of 10 to go. Dollar again. Brandon Jones, the 48 of Kaz Gralla, the 07 of Joe Graff Jr., the 6 of Vargas, and Myatt Snyder, all involved in a wreck. Clements went through the grass and missed, so good for him. Again, I like Jeremy Clements. I have for years. There's something, small town guy. He just seems to appreciate it, a lot more. And when he has a chance to win, he's got to race for it. And it's because he doesn't have a lot of, big opportunities to do it. So he has to get them when he can. But before to go, Sam Mayer and Austin Hill go around. Mayer's had a hard hit, and it really sucked for Austin Hill because that was his Daytona car. And he seems to have some. For what he says about his feelings for restrictor plate racing, seems to be pretty good at it because he was right up there again, led all kinds of laps. It was a shame to see that car wreck because we all know how good it was. But, again, restrictor plate racing, and most of the time it doesn't work out good for you. There's nothing you can do about it. You can do everything perfect and it still won't work out good for you. So, sucked to see it though. Green, white checker number 1. Everyone got a really even start, so that was good to see. Knowing about Creed and Baccarella. Went around in 3 and 4. Creed had a hard one head on again when he got turned when the 45 and 47, and 45 came right down into the 47, turned him. Boeing bounced off of him. Went Sheldon Creed, of nothing of his own doing, and he needed that good finish, where he is in points. He's outside looking in the playoff standings right now. I think he'll get it turned around just because, he's a good driver and who he's driving for. He just needs that good luck. He needs it. He needs a bad luck to at least end. Half decent luck is better than what he has right now. Funny story, AJ was out front. Again, that happens a lot to him at Talladega. Green, white checker number 2, Allgaier was out front, and Clemens stalled out. So there went that. Green, white checker number 3. Sadly, Justin Allgaier ran out of fuel coming to the line, out of the lead for the 3rd green, white checkered. And, we know he's good enough that it won't affect him later. Down the road, he'll make the playoffs. It'll be okay. Still sucked, but again, how big of a track it is. 3rd green, white checker, 2.66 mile track. I mean, you could save, but you can only save, so much for how far a lot of them stretched it. And there's a lot of guys that did stretch it. It's one of those things, man. I saw a lot of people freaking out, just like when Denny ran out of gas. Like, it's okay. It's okay. People do run out of gas. Believe it or not, everyone sooner or later has some kind of weird little thing. I need to lose your minds and threaten to fire people over that, especially when they were going that far. I mean, they were pushing it to the limit and they got caught. Happens all the time. But Ryan Sieg made a great save on the last lap. Amazing. And Jeffrey Earnhardt, to go from, I think, 5th or so, maybe even on the last, going when he hit the back straightaway, but he was 5th and he got all the way up to 2nd. He looked really good. I mean, the moves he was making, if he had any help, if they were closer, he could have got to Gregson, but with the way they were stacked up behind him and all that, like there was no chance. But he got it all the way up to a 2nd, a hell of a finish. But Gregson wins, Jeffrey Earnhardt 2nd, AJ gets 3rd, Landon Castle 4th, Ryan Sieg 5th, Anthony Alfredo 6th, Riley Hurst with a good run 7th, Joe Graff Jr. still pulls off in 8th, even though the trouble earlier. Myatt Snyder in 9th, even after the problems. Moffitt 10th, and AJ Allmendinger won the $100,000 dash for cash for a 2nd straight week. Good on AJ. Again, great driver. I like that he got a 2nd chance. That whole thing that went down years ago, it's, again, he got the penalty, right, and he owned up to it. And I was just glad to see that Matt Collett gave him a 2nd chance because he is super talented and he proves it all the time. I just wish he could finally close one of these restrictor plate races out, especially at Talladega, because he always seems to be right there at the end. Never gets it, fully done. But good racing, and he's still got, a 3rd. You can really complain about that. You get $100,000. Man, you got $100,000, so bonus. I think that kind of helps, make you feel a little better about that. But good stuff. And a lot of good guys had, look, Landon Castle again up there. Ryan Sieg driving the 38 instead of 39 to get him points. Ran up, again, 5th. Joe Graff Jr. and Myatt Snyder 8th and 9th, even after having trouble earlier. So lots of good stuff came out of it. And, it's always, the great equalizer. And it's good to see, things work out for a lot of people, but it being a great equalizer, restrictor plates also, can turn on a dime in about a second and take out half the field and ruin a day. But everyone can at least run good. So that's the important thing. And it's Talladega. Like, if you don't expect that to happen, you've apparently never watched a race at Talladega. I'm going to leave that right there at that. But goes to the Cup Series Geico 500. I loved seeing, Clint Boyer driving Davy's old car out there before. I loved Dale Jr. in the booth with, the guys. I think it was a great fit. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed that better than him on NBC, but I'm just not a fan of NBC's coverage. So that's probably all it comes down to. I don't know about you guys. I really don't like NBC's coverage at all. It just hurts my head, but that was good. Christopher Bell started on pole with his teammate, Martin Truex Jr. second. And there was a lot of stuff that happened in there. We'll get to stage one. On lap 35, 26 to go. 51 went around trying to get onto pit road, but it stayed green, thankfully, because he got it going right away and kept going. And it would have been dumb. Like, I get it, but everyone was so far away. He wasn't right. Like, good call on that one. And a lot happened during that green flag. Cycle. Reddick was pushed to the garage. It sucked. And he was the first of many of ECR engines to have problems and not finish. But we all, it just sucks for Tyler Reddick to have that happen. Ross Chastain caught speeding. These things happen. Daniel Hemrick was the second one, to lose power from the ECR house, and right in the middle of the pack, though. And he got just run over from behind. There's nothing anyone could have done. He went from going to just nothing. And you drop speed quick in that situation. Nowhere for people to go. Turned up the track. Got into Briscoe, who caught on fire. Chris Buescher got caught up in it. Bubba won stage one under caution. And again, good for Bubba. He is always up there at restrictor plates. He knows how to run them well. And he got the win, whether it was rain shortened or not. It was rain shortened. But a lot of people have won the first race rain shortened. It happens. He was right up there at Daytona. He's right up there again. He does know how to run restrictor plate tracks. So there, you can't say I never say anything nice about him. But then stage 2, 44 Biffle. Slow. Loses power, lap 80 with 44 to go on the stage. Causes another caution and the third ECR motor to go out on the day, which had to be terrifying. 1, maybe 2, okay, 3. I'm pretty sure everyone that had one was losing their absolute minds because of it. It doesn't make you feel good, but they all kept going. You got to do it. You got to go until it goes, really, because you never know. BJ McLeod lost a wheel for a caution. That sucked. That's going to really suck for BJ, just being a smaller team, because the suspensions and the fines and all that are coming. It's a shame to see, but it is the rule. You got to get the tire fully attached and on there. So it's the same for him as it is for everybody else. It sucks because he's a smaller team, but equal enforcement, I'm completely okay with it. Bubba caused a big one. Involved Logano, Custer, Todd Gilliland, Ty Dillon, Daniel Suarez, Harrison Burton, Austin Cindric, Ricky Stenhouse, and the 31, 18, and 6 somehow squeaked through it all. I do want to call out Mike Joy for trying to blame it on the 24, checking up, trying to get in front of his teammates on the restart. Anyone watching it saw how big of a gap there was between the 24 and the next car behind him. That's all I'm going to say about it. Just like when you got caught up, he's running good, until this happened. No, he was running the 20s, 27, before it happened. He went back to the 30s. When he does bad, just let him do bad. When he wrecks, causes a big one, don't make a million excuses for him or the anyone out there. It is what it is. Did another wreck happen there later from a teammate? Doing the same thing and putting their team on the wall? Yes. So there's just something right there that did it, but he still did it. And I don't care if he says I barely touched him. He still did it. And that's what happened as the result of that. So I will give him credit, though. It did happen again later in the same spot. But, stop making excuses for him. 3 of the 4 Penske cars were involved, including the Wood brothers, 21, which sucks that it happens. Cole Custer blew up later. from damage earlier, in that wreck. It only took him a couple laps. And right there later, I will say the 51 of Cody Ware got a bump in the same spot by his teammate and went into the wall and got stuck in the grass. And lap 106 was 16 to go on the stage. So there's something that seemed, there, but it's just mistiming. One little thing can cause all of that. So that's all you got to say. No one's going to be mad. He won't even be mad because obviously someone mistimed something, which is what caused it, because people don't just spin out into walls on their own. So why can't we just leave it at that? It's my only problem. Like, why can't we just, hit them wrong in the wrong spot. Boom, done. Everyone moves on. Stop making excuses. But William Byron won stage 2. Stage 3, Brad got hit with a second speeding penalty on the next batch of green flag pit stops. I don't understand what happened, on the same thing. If you were watching it, Kyle Busch trying to get around the 62. I don't know how the hell he even could say he missed the color of the 20 car inside of him making contact, having all that happen. I don't see how he can, but I mean, obviously that's going to be his excuse. He's not going to say, well, just move down, and hit him on purpose. Like, he's not going to do that. But I want to hear the excuse on that one, because that was just driving right into him. Bad. Hamlin lost fuel. There's 3 to go and had to pit. And again, same thing as with, Algar. So many people going after crew chief Chris Gabehart because he ran out of, like, he was the one team that did it. And look how often it doesn't happen. Look how many races they won on fuel mileage and stuff. Like, believe it or not, this happens in racing. You guys can all calm down, come off your podiums. I don't hear I'm talking trash about people. People make mistakes. At least I admit my mistakes. People should admit theirs. Like, that's all he did. They miscalculated. They could have got it like by that much is all it takes. Like, less than a second worth of gas could have made, all the difference. Now fast he's running and all that. So, I mean, these things happen. Everyone calm down, please. Eric Jones leading out the white flag. Ross made some moves, got in, Kurt going to 3 and 4 there, but Kurt gets put up in the wall in the tryover, took out Bubba. They were both running up there. Again, it sucked for both of them. Big hits. And again, Bubba knows how to run on restricted plates. So it's a shame to see it go down that way after such a good start and to see both cars for the team taken out at the trioval. But good finish. I feel, Ross Chastain gets the win, second one for him this year. First 2 of his career, first 2 for Trackhouse. Good on him to be an equipment he could actually run in. Austin Dillon second, Kyle Busch third, Larson fourth, Truex fifth, Eric Jones sixth. And damn shame because he ran a good race, but it's restrictor plates. I mean, Talladega, there's always last lap passes, all these things. So it sucks, but at least he ran good. Elliott 7th, McDowell 8th, Bowman 9th, and Harvick rounded out the top 10 and got a top 10. So there's that. Hopefully he finds it as a positive. We can only hope. But closing on it all, I start out for the weekend. It was good to see Jet lock up the championship again. He dominated it at a lot of tracks. So good to see him lock up the 250 East. We'll see what his brother can do in the West and what's going to happen with Tomac if he can close it out in Denver over Jason Anderson. We'll see. I don't know. I think he will, just because there's such a big buffer. Like, it would need, legit calamity to not be able to do it, but anything's possible. So we'll see. But I think he should be able to close it out. F1, Red Bulls, help themselves in the constructor and driver standings with the way that went. So good for them to be up there 1-2. Max was out by a year, but Ferrari's having, mistakes and trouble between signs on lap 1 and Leclerc spinning out from 3rd and having to pit, came back up to 6th, but still happened. And, that is places when it comes to, constructors and drivers points. So good run for, the Red Bulls not having any trouble in closing in on them, and Mercedes and, Toto and Lewis Hamilton need to figure it out because Russell's up there running good. So the million-time champion, like, he's got to figure it out. I don't know what it is, but got to figure that out sooner than later. I mean, and they've both, like, after just this short amount of time, conceded that it's over championship hopes for them. So I don't know what it is, but someone's got to wake up and figure it out and talk to the teammate and just see what's going on, because it's just weird to see how good, his new teammate is compared to him. It's his new teammate wasn't driving, with the team last year and all those years. So, it's a bigger change probably for Lewis, but got to figure that stuff out. Ty Dillon and Bubba looked good until they didn't. Bubba did still cause the big one, but I mean, lots of people have accidentally caused big ones by doing nothing of their own. I'm just going to say he did it. So I wish people would own up to that. He might have barely touched him, but all it takes is a little bad timing and bad things happen. Part of racing, especially at restrictor plates. So, again, happens at restrictor plates. I'm not talking trash because, God knows what I would do, but stop making excuses. Oh, it's because they were checked up because, like, no, bro, no. Like they were, no. Let's just go with no. There were nowhere, like there was no holdup because of that, but it is what it is. But anyway, him and Ty looked good until they didn't. Sucked. And good run for the 43 Eric Jones. Again, last lap passes, they happen there all the damn time. Just the way it is. Look at the Xfinity race. Look at my last lap passes. There, I mean, it just happens all the time. So, keep it up. And, sooner or later, it all falls in line again. Those tracks are just luck, and there's just so much that can happen. So, good run for them, though. They all needed it. And then the whole ARCA thing. Now, if you were running a racing league, let's say, whole thing, setting up a schedule for a weekend, and you're at a track where big wrecks, are frequent, that cause red flags and stop stuff, why would you put the races that close to each other? Because then you pull we got to stop it. Next flag stops it, whether it's the checker or the yellow. So we have time to get the Xfinity race in. And then they still had like an hour pre-show for the Xfinity race, which means they could have, finished that. You could have given 15 minutes. Ooh, they still could have done intros and got everyone the lap on the like they could have still done all of it. So what the hell is the point? I'm sorry, that's a slap in the face to the teams that are, paying to be in the race and busting their tails to be their sponsors, drivers, fans, everything. They all deserve better. If they could still have that big of a pre-race show after ending that earlier, why the hell, when you're at a track like that, do you not start the damn race sooner just to make sure in case anything stupid happens, you get the whole thing in? Like fans were there and got screwed. Teams were there. Drivers, sponsors, if we make such a big deal about sponsorships, you just cut the race short on them. Less TV time because you guys, your piss poor planning screwed them. Like it's ridiculous. And then the Xfinity race started right on time. The sun was still very much up. What the hell would the 15 minutes have done? When it made a damn difference, they still would have got everything done with all the time they wasted before the Xfinity race. And they wonder why people don't like watching or don't like the sport and don't like watching it or anything. Don't notice stupid stuff like this happens. Throwing cautions for no reasons when the guy saves it and keeps going, which we saw them do like on pit road where people are doing pit stops, and they kept agreeing the Cup Series, but they ended that one early for a guy spinning around and continuing to go straight. Saved it and went, didn't hit anything. Like that was them just trying to get it's done. Like that was a pile of a lot of things. And like whoever made that decision, like on how to do all that, like you should actually be fired or punched in the back of the head. I don't know. I don't promote violence and all that, but that was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. And literally a slap to everyone, fans, teams, drivers, sponsors, everything to end it early because you guys are dumb and big wrecks happen, but you didn't plan for any of it. Like that is absolutely stupid, especially with how many doubleheaders we have where they're just caution after caution after caution after caution after caution. Like you think you'd figure it out this amount of time. Starting an hour earlier, same amount of fans probably would have been there to watch it. Like it's Talladega. Like it was just piss poor, inexcusable. And I think they owe a lot of people a lot of different things for how garbage they did there. And I'm going to stop talking about it now before I start cussing because Google already puts an expletive. Yeah. A little E next to every episode, even on the ones when I'm not with Walter. So there's no profanity. So it means I should start cussing more, but screw them. I'm not going to. But I'm going to leave there. Thanks for watching. Thank you for listening. Don't forget, share it out if you're on Good Pods. Please follow along on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. YouTube. No matter what, you guys see it where it is, the audio. Listen to it. One of the, through one of those, you can still go on the Facebook page and like and comment, rate the episodes, rate the shows. Just to help get it because it'll get advertised to more people. The more of those I get, and helps out everything. It really does. Again, more listens I get through, any of the listening platforms, better it works out for me and the sponsor Anchor who helps me do it all. So I can get that, so I get credit there and I can track it all better. But regardless of how you're, tuning in, thank you. Share it out, get it to more people, get it out to more platforms and stuff. Like, just put it out all over social media and everything. It helps me out. And I'll be back on Friday with Walter. So be good to each other. Literally look at that wreck that happened in the 250 LCQ at Ty Firehill, because that thing just sucked, and hopefully he's okay. Maybe let the ARCA Series know that they completely suck And until Friday, my friends, be good to each other. Peace.